Hello everybody and welcome to Dark Pluto, and today is my first video actually, but also my first video of my dual profile series. And today I'm going to be going over the deck that I've been using for quite a while, but I also kind of enjoy, and also but mainly I'm going to an OTS championship at my locals here in about week or two, so here soon, and this is the deck I'm going to use, and it's my very own Yosenju deck, and I thought I'd give you a quick little profile, tell you how I feel about it, and then just see what everyone at home thinks. So first is Yosenju, 1. And I like this guy. He's probably one of the best or better of the Yosenju monsters. Basically what he does is when you normal summon him, 2, and 3, all the commas have a similar effect that they all have in common, where when you normal summon, you can also normal summon another Yosenju monster from your hand to the field. But also, he has like a pulse type effect. He can bounce back a face-up card once per turn when him and another Yosenju is on the field. And plus, he does 1600 damage, so not a bad monster. And he's a level 4, he's a win attribute, so he kind of works well with the deck. And I think running 3 of all the commas are, quite useful. And then number 2 is Yosenju, 2. And this one is pretty cool. I like the 1 better, like artwork wise, but this is still pretty cool. They're all Beast Warriors, by the way. Level 4 win attribute. Now it has the ability of where you can, like 1 and 3, where you can normal summon 1 if you normal summon 2. But it has the effect where it can attack your opponent directly, but its attack gets reduced in half. Doesn't sound very well or good, but really, if you have it in 3, it works well with 3 and can get 3's effect to work. So, not a bad card, and plus it's your strongest of the monsters, especially at the commas. It's 1800, so even with half the attack reduced, you're still getting almost 1000 damage to your opponent. So really not bad, and once again, I think 3 is a useful number here. And then finally, to wrap up the Yosenju commas, Yosenju, 3. Now he's the weakest, only about 1500 attack, and I believe his defense is the highest possibly out of all of them. But he's also a level 4 win attribute Beast Warrior. He has the effect where when you normal summon him, another normal summon of Yosenju from your hand that turn. But what really makes him good is when another Yosenju on the field does damage besides him, or if only one other Yosenju on the field does any amount of damage to your opponent, his effect activates. Then you get to search the deck for a Yosenju card. It can be a monster, trap, anything, as long as it is a Yosenju card. So he's pretty much your searcher, or I guess quote-unquote Stratos of the deck. But he's still not bad. Whenever your opponent has nothing on the field to stop him, and you have him and maybe 1, 2, can really do some damage and kind of end the game quickly. And I also run 3 of him as well. And then finally, well, not finally, but we're getting towards the end of the Yosenjus. Next is another level 4 win attribute, Yosenju Sujik. I had trouble saying his name at first, but I like the card. It's not the best, but running it at 2 is okay. Because, see, he has only 1000 attack and 0 defense, but he has 2 different abilities. You can either, when he's summoned, you can activate his effect to power up any Yosenju. You can even power him up by 1000. So either he can double his attack to 2000, or any of the Yosenjus I've showed you before can get an extra 1000 boost in attack points. But you can also discard him from the hand to power up a Yosenju as well. So not bad, but I think 3 would kind of, make the deck a little cloggy, and you might have a broken hand or 2 where it's not as good. But I think running 2's good and fine. Then we have the Tower, as everyone I know likes to call it. This is one of the pendulums of the Yosenjus, and it's a level 4 win attribute. This one's not a Beast Warrior, though, but it has an okay decent effect. Monster effect wise, I think your opponent can't do any target, like with any monsters you control except for it. But it's a pendulum effect is where you want it. You put just one of these into the pendulum zone, and pretty much if like something were to destroy your Yosenju, like a card effect, let's say you attack and they got Mirror Force, or let's say Torrential Tribute, you can send this to the graveyard instead and save your Yosenju or your Yosenjus depending on how many you have. So this is a pretty good card. I think 2's okay, 3 would clog I think a little bit, but also running at 2's okay and good because you can search for this off of 3's effect, but you can also search Sujik too, so you know, I think running them at 2 kind of helps keep the deck down a little bit. Next, this is kind of a tech card choice of my own. I've seen other people play it, but not many. And this is Santa Claus, of course, as you can see. Kind of cool. And it's the gold, rarity or whatever. Now, he has a special ability that kind of goes together with Yosenju, 1. Remember how he can bounce something back? Well, this can special summon by tributing one of your opponent's monsters, and this goes to their side of the field, and it gets placed in defense. You have one, and then you get another Yosenju out, bam, pop this back to your hand, and they lose a monster. And if they have an okay, decent big beater, this can really help, and you can keep doing this over and over and over and over, as many times as you wish. So I think it's kind of an okay, good card to add in, and he's pretty cool, I think. But running at 1 is all I'd recommend, though, because, I think he'll start clogging. Finally, another card I just chose to run just because I think it's okay and good is Gores. A lot of people know this card. Pretty much if you take battle damage, you special summon it and a token, or I believe if effect damage is done, you deal half or the same amount of damage to your opponent and special summon it. It's an okay strong monster, and plus if you don't have nothing else, or you only have 1 or 2 Yosenjus and your opponent tries to come at you, especially for game, bam, Gores. Kind of there to protect you, but also can kind of help. I've had it in a game or two kind of help me out, and you can also attack over some big, okay, decent sized things and possibly get game. Who knows? This, I guess, it's kind of situational, but I'm liking it so far, even though I don't get into it a whole lot. Now it's time for the spells, and first is kind of an odd choice, but works really well, and I believe a lot, or just about every Yosenju player would agree, and even I found out that this is a good card to run after I first started playing Yosenjus. Fire Formation Tinky. Usually, this is good for the Fire Fist archetype, because they're Fire Fist, of course, but they're Beast Warriors, so what this card allows you to do is, when you activate it, it's a continuous spell, but when you first activate it, it allows you to search for a level 4 or lower Beast Warrior. And as you've seen, all if not most of the Yosenjus are Beast Warrior and level 4. So this kind of helps, plus it's continuous, and as long as it's on the field, your Yosenjus or your Beast Warriors gain 100 attacks. So it's an okay good card, but it also helps with the consistency too. And sometimes that's the problem I've had with this deck is consistency, but it kind of helps in that department. And the next card that kind of helps with consistency is 3 copies of Pot of Duality. I really like this card because, see, this thing about this deck, you never special summon, or it's a rare chance or time that you'll ever special summon from the extra deck, and really you don't need any or very little much of an extra deck with this deck, unless you're going for game or just wanting to try something, but this helps out because it adds consistency. You reveal 3, and then you might get a card or 2 you might need, and it just really helps speed up the deck and add consistency that the deck really needs. So with those 2 and 3, it should make the deck kind of consistent speed up. Then for 2s, we have 2 MST. You could add Twin Twister. I just don't have any right now and can't afford them at the moment, but Twin Twister would probably be a better choice, I guess. But MST still is not a bad card. Just remember, it does not negate for people that think it negates. Then 2 Dark Hole. to kind of, you know, take care of the opponent's side of the field. Because, see, Yosenjus, if they're normal summon, I forgot to mention, they bounce back to hand at the end of the turn. So unless their effects are negated, or you special summon it somehow, which I don't get why you would or how you would, if it's in the graveyard maybe, but then whatever. But this is good to clear your opponent's side of the field. I don't run Regeki only because I don't have one myself, and I don't believe it's worth the money. But it's still an okay good card, so you could switch one of these out or something I have in the deck and add Regeki if you'd want to, but I don't see it. Then one ofs, I run one Book of Moon because, you know, good back row to protect you, especially since they bounce back to hand. You'll need something, and you'll kind of see that the trap portion's pretty big, and plus the back row is going to be big in general because there's not a lot of monsters in a way, but also you have, you know, no monsters during your opponent's turn usually, so you need a little something to protect you. Then a tech choice or something I decided to add in was Mask Change 2, and I'll kind of get into why I chose this, but pretty much I use it so if I only have one, or if I summon one out and they use like something like Skill Drain, I think it is, or Effect Veiler, then I could use this if I have it, and you'll see who I'd summon out with it to kind of help me out, or if I need to do something, or if I want to go for it, or if they're about to push for game, it could kind of help. Now for traps, I run 2 Yosenju Secret Move. This thing pretty much negates and destroys any effect, monster, spell, or trap-wise, but all cards and monsters you control, I believe, have to be Yosenju. What's kind of bad about this is I believe you actually have to have 1 or 2 Yosenjus on the field, monster-wise, in order to activate it. And I've been told a little differently, but I mainly do it as, because I believe I've heard it more of, you can't unless you have 1 or 2 Yosenjus. But either way, it's still a good card. I was running it at 3, but I thought it was a little cloggy. Plus, I can search for it if I need it. But it's got okay, kind of cool artwork in it. It does have a good effect. So I'd say overall run no less than probably 2. 1 I think wouldn't be enough, but you could run 3 if you wish to. Then a card that a lot of people don't probably use or use in a normal or a different deck is Lose 1 Turn. This is probably one of the more expensive cards of the deck, but it's really okay and good. You could actually run 3 or 1. I just think 2's kind of okay. I wish I sometimes saw it a little bit more, but this can sometimes help you win games, and also goes okay and well with the Yosenjus, because, see, basically, as long as I believe you control no special summon monsters, it's a continuous trap, and as long as it's on the field, when your opponent special summons a monster, it goes straight to defense. Then their effects are negated, I believe, the turn that they're summoned. So pretty much it kind of stops your opponent in a way from special summoning. And as you'll see in my trap lineup, that's kind of what I went for my Yosenju deck, is to kind of, you know, kind of protect yourself, but also to kind of hurt your opponent when it comes to special summoning. And because, you know, special summoning is kind of rampant, especially when Pepe was still pretty big. It was kind of a problem. But next, I'd say is another okay good card, but it's kind of a choice I made, but I think I've seen 1 or 2 other people play it. And also another deck or decks is Grand Horn of Heaven. Pretty much if your opponent special summons a monster, and I think it's if they just special summon. I think there's another card or something similar to it, or in this category of the Horn of Heavens, that if they activate effect or something. But if your opponent, I believe, just special summons a monster or monsters, you can activate this, negate the summon, or I guess summonings of the monster or monsters, and I believe they get destroyed. So they're negated and destroyed, and it ends your opponent's main phase 1, but your opponent does get to draw a card, about the only downside of it. But I still think it's an okay good card overall, but you know, I guess that's kind of up to you. This is the part where I guess you can change up some things, but this is what I think's okay and best fits. Next, 2 Mirror Forces. You could switch this out. I just use it to protect myself, but I don't have the money for some of the other Mirror Force cards, so this is kind of, you know, just a little bit of back row to protect me with. So kind of another little pricey card, but not too bad, especially if you have a little money to spend. You could probably afford something a little bit better. But finally, wrapping things up with the one-ofs, vanities, kind of stop special summonings, solemn, kind of similar, same deal to an extent, dimensional prison, sorry. Now, Macrocosmo, an okay good card in this deck because as long as it's on the field, all cards sent to the graveyard are banished instead. And sometimes I've won games or really hurt my opponent or opponents by using this card. And really, if it wasn't limited to one, I might run another 1 or 2 copies. Trenchal, because, you know, it could kind of help destroy your opponent's monster or monsters. And then, finally, Bottomless, because you never know, it might help too, kind of like with the Trenchal. And those are my one-ofs of the traps to kind of finish it off. And, like I said, I would kind of go over, I might give a suggestion or two here and there of maybe extra deck cards you could use, but overall, unless you're going to use something like Cowboy, Black Ship of Corn, stuff that can help you get game, I wouldn't necessarily go with it. Now, I forgot to grab it, but one card I would recommend running is, well, if you're going to go with the Mask Change 2 thing like me, was I'm using Mask Hero Divine Wind, I believe he's called, and pretty much he allows you to, you know, he can't be destroyed by battle, and I believe every time I think he destroys a monster or monsters, you get to draw a card or two, so, and I think that's his effect or effects. So it's a pretty good card. It's just something I'm trying out, but you don't have to run it. This ended up being a 41 card deck because of the Mask Change 2, and I've done a thing or two here that change it up. Especially when I first got the deck, it wasn't near as good as it is now, I believe. And I actually went to a regionals about a week or two ago, maybe not even that long ago. It was the last time I went, and I actually got 4th place, which I know doesn't seem great to a lot of people, but I was kind of proud. It was the best I'd done. I had got 3 wins, and I believe 1 loss. Only a loss or 2 to a Monarch player or Monarchs, so, because they're kind of okay and big right now. But thank you for watching my deck profile, and I hope to see you in another video, and thank you for watching my first video. Please don't forget to comment and subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.